Okay, let's dive into this. Behind all the official headlines we're seeing about UFOs and congressional hearings, the source material we're looking at today paints a really different picture. We're talking about a story of deliberate control, a huge deception, and maybe, just maybe, a global awakening.
Right off the bat, our source hits us with this pretty stark warning. For decades, the official story was just deny, deny, deny. But now that's changing, and the worry isn't just about what they're going to tell us, it's about how they're going to frame it. This perspective suggests the news story could actually be way more dangerous than the old cover-up ever was. So to really get that warning, we have to look at an idea that's at the heart of this whole worldview. It's this concept of a hidden system of control that, according to the source, has been running things for generations by basically manufacturing fear to hold on to its power and make a profit.
The source calls it something more than what we've heard before. It's a military-industrial media complex. So you've got this powerful triangle working together, right? One part builds the weapons, another part needs an enemy to justify using them, and then the media's job is to convince all of us that the threat is real. It's a self-perpetuating cycle that justifies massive spending and keeps them in control.
And as evidence for this, the source points to this absolutely stunning allegation, supposedly from a major figure in the American space program. The claim here is that the entire Cold War, the thing that defined the whole 20th century, wasn't a real struggle at all. It was a deliberately made-up rivalry, designed just to keep the war machine funded and humming along.
So this timeline here connects some huge historical events into one single story of manipulation. From this point of view, General Patton's death wasn't just some accident. He was supposedly taken out because he wanted to neutralize Russia, which would have gotten rid of the enemy they needed for the next big thing. And then, decades later, JFK's assassination is tied not just to politics, but to his dream of partnering with that same enemy for peaceful space exploration, a move that would have completely threatened this whole conflict-based system.
Okay, so how does all this history stuff connect to what's happening today? Well, according to the source, this exact same playbook, manufacturing a threat, is now being used for the UFO phenomenon. And that raises a huge question. Are we being prepped for a new cosmic-scale enemy?
So this basically sets up two completely different stories for humanity's future. On one hand, you have the potential threat angle. That's a story that would justify a gigantic increase in military spending to weaponize space. But the other view, the one the source promotes, is that these beings aren't invaders at all. They're potential allies who could bring us into a new era of peace and incredible technology.
And this is exactly why the source is so skeptical of the official disclosure process. The argument is that these public hearings are basically just political theater. A lot of the witnesses are just repeating what they've been told, not what they've actually seen. The source even claims some key figures are professional disinformants, all pushing that threat narrative, while hundreds of first-hand witnesses from the military and corporations who have a very different story to tell are just being completely ignored.
But this isn't presented as a totally hopeless situation. The source argues there's a really powerful counter-movement bubbling up, a global awakening of human consciousness that's starting to say no to these old ways of fear and control.
I love this analogy from the source. It just captures the idea perfectly. Think of the control system like a stage play that's been running for centuries. Well, now the audience is getting bored. People are starting to realize the story isn't real, and they're literally getting up and walking out, leaving the actors on stage just shouting their lines to a room that's getting emptier and emptier.
And this awakening isn't just some vague idea. The source points out that multiple, totally independent channels are all pointing to the 2026-2027 timeframe as a period of massive, transformative change for all of us. So what does this transformation actually look like? Well, it's described as this fundamental shift in what we even care about. It's about realizing that money and power don't actually make you happy. Instead, true fulfillment comes from helping others, from using your own unique gifts to make the world better, and from that deep spiritual knowing that we're all connected, that we really are all one. And here's where it gets really wild. According to the source, this new era of consciousness is going to come with the release of revolutionary technologies, tech that's supposedly been hidden away in secret black programs for more than 100 years.
Just imagine for a second what this would mean. An end to poverty caused by energy costs. Transportation that makes global travel almost instant. Medical tech so advanced that if a soldier loses a limb, they could just grow it back. The source is dead serious that this isn't sci-fi. This stuff already exists. It's just been locked away.
And for a really tangible, though pretty mind-bending example of where this could all go, The source points to something called the Soul Phone Project. The roadmap starts simple enough, a device that can get yes/no answers from the other side. But from there, it goes to texting, then audio, and the ultimate goal, a live video chat with people like Einstein or Tesla. I mean, that's a technology that would just completely rewrite our understanding of consciousness itself.
So what's the ultimate end game of this Great Awakening? Well, the final vision, laid out in the source, is a completely transformed human civilization, one that's finally found a lasting peace and is ready to take its real place in the cosmos.
In this future, money is just an old, outdated idea. The main focus of society shifts away from just surviving and getting stuff and moves towards spiritual growth and creative expression. And once we've moved past war and division, humanity is finally mature enough to be welcomed into the galactic family of planets.
This is such a powerful vision, and it comes directly from a guided meditation in the source. It isn't just presented as a nice dream. It's presented as our destiny, a future where we finally get over our own worst habits and become a peaceful, interstellar species.
So at the end of the day, the big takeaway from this perspective is all about choice. The future isn't some fixed thing that just happens to us. It's a reality we are actively building right now with our thoughts and our actions. So the final question the source leaves us with isn't what's going to happen, it's what future are you going to choose to create?